Hello everyone and welcome to week 6 of the TBL. Your New York Empoleons are looking to get back to 500 here. We are 2-3 right now, taking on the Colorado Colors coached by Pokebeta. And he beat us 4-0 last time, the worst loss we've had in League format since my second ever match in League format when I got bodied 6-0 by Ollie. Now that was in TBL Season 1, and the only Pokemon that's on this team that would recognize that would be Tapu Lele. Tapu Lele was, of course, on my TBL Season 1 team. So he's got... You guys can see it anyway, but Zygarde 50%, Celesteela, Gengar, Magnezone, Darmanitan, Whimsicott, Quagsire, Drampa, Regice, Armaldo, and Mega Medicham. Now, we are going to be using this Tapu Lele liberally. This thing is going to be able to switch in as much as it wants to. It's going to counter his Mega Medicham going for Fake Out, counters any kind of priority and extreme speed from Zygarde, so he's got to be really wary of that. And I really like that I'm countering extreme speed from Zygarde, because unless he's running a Scarf Zygarde, I'm going to outspeed him. Now, Moonblast obviously doesn't help against the Celesteela, so if I lock myself into Moonblast or Psyshock, that's not a great idea against Celesteela. Celesteela is absolutely a huge problem. Additionally, Magnezone resists all 4 moves on my set, so I do have to watch out for that. But everything else should be able to be handled by this Lele if I get enough chances to attack with it. I just have to be careful that he doesn't just take out my Choice Scarfer, because as we know, Choice Scarfers can be extremely valuable in League format. Speaking of Choice Scarfers, I have learned the power of Flame Orb Quick Feet Jolteon. It is so fast and it's not Scarfed, and nothing outspeeds it even if it is Scarfed. So I have been learning to run that a lot more. I think it's extraordinarily useful, except when Volt Absorb makes a ton of sense, and I haven't had a matchup recently. Since I started running Flame Orb Jolteon, I've had a lot more success with this team. So, Strike the Jolteon is going to be rocking Volt Switch, Charm, Shadow Ball, and Hidden Power Grass. It is level 100 so that I could get the IVs to be what they to look like maximum. But it's going to be rocking 116 HP, max special attack, modest nature, and 148 speed. 148 speed guarantees it outspeeds everything on his team, with the exception of Whimsicott, I believe. And this was designed specifically so that it could have a lot more power, and it wasn't going to outspeed Whimsicott unless it was running a timid nature, and I wasn't going to do that. So Charm was actually an interesting decision. It was sort of a debate. Do I run Shuka Berry to take the hit from the Zygarde, or do I run Flame Orb with Quick Feet? And I wanted to run Flame Orb with Quick Feet, which meant that I had to have some way of handling his Zygarde. His Zygarde with an Earthquake would obviously OHKO a Jolteon, but it doesn't with a Shuka Berry, and in fact, a Shuka Berry just halves the damage. So I said, what about Charm, which halves the damage? It's just -2. So if I switch it on the Celesteela, or the Zygarde, or the Darmanitan, and have a chance to know that I'm either sacking off my Jolteon, or otherwise it's not going to be that useful late game, or I need a chance to sweep with something else and need to force a switch, Charm is just this bailout option for me to be able to handle something like that. Additionally, I don't have HP Ice on this, so that was my way of handling Zygarde. HP Grass, obviously for the Quagsire, and really nothing else in his team. But I needed some way to handle the Quagsire, and Quagsire is otherwise a completely safe switch into Jolteon, so I wanted to make sure I had that answer. Shadow Ball handles the Gengar, and that's about it as well. Mega Medicham perhaps as well. But Jolteon put in so much work last week, the last couple weeks, that I just needed to make sure I brought it this week and show that it can continue to put in the work. I think it's got a really good set this week. I think handling Celesteela is a really good option for this. Volt switching with a Quick Feet Jolteon is just absolutely incredible because it doesn't take any burn damage, but it's so fast. Next up we have Entei. Entei is going to be holding that Shuka Berry that I talked about before. It's going to have Sacred Fire, Toxic, Extreme Speed, and Roar. I got beat by a setup Celesteela last time. I don't expect he's going to be able to do that again. Beat me once. Shame on me. That's how it goes. So, Sacred Fire, obviously an incredible move. 50% chance to burn. Handles the Celesteela, handles the Magnezone, handles the Whimsicott, handles the Regice. Does just fine against the Armaldo. So, I've got so many ways to use this Sacred Fire. Toxic is there for things like the Zygarde, for things like the Quagsire, for things like the Drampa that I otherwise really don't hit that hard. Extreme Speed is some priority. I know that my Tapu Lele and Entei don't get along super well with that, but that's what that's there for, and Roar is there if I am expecting him to keep setting up with the Celesteela and he's in too deep and I can't get rid of it any other way. Roar allows me that bailout option. I am going to be running max attack adamant. It has to be adamant because it's got extreme speed, and then 212 in HP to really give it some bulk. And then this 36 speed allows it to outspeed a couple of things on his team, guaranteed, but nothing major that I really cared about the speed for. I thought about going full in on speed, but again, it has to be adamant because of the fact that it has extreme speed, so it couldn't be Jolly, and therefore can't outspeed Zygarde guaranteed. So I figured I'm just going to accept the fact that I'm not going to outspeed Zygarde or Darmanitan, and just outspeed the stuff that's really slow, like Drampa, Regice, and Armaldo. Next up, we have Click Clack, the Claydol. Rocking the Icium Z this week. Yes, my Z user is going to be Claydol. It is a max special attack, modest nature Claydol with 128 HP and 128 in physical defense. Grass Knot, Ice Beam, Earth Power, and Heal Block. Heal Block is there for the Celesteela. I wanted to run Psychium Z Heal Block. Fun fact, that gives you a +2 in special attack. But Ice Beam still did like nothing to Celesteela. And I needed the Icium Z in order to guarantee an OHKO on Zygarde, even though I'm max special attack modest. So I figured, you know what? Icium Z, Ice Beam, handles the Whimsicott, handles the Zygarde, does so much damage against the Drampa. Grass Knot's going to help me against the Quagsire. Earth Power helps me against Gengar, Magnezone, Darmanitan. So there were so many ways that I could run this, and I was like, you know what? Max special attack Claydol. We ran our max special attack Cradilly the other week, and that was stupid successful. So we're going to try Claydol this time, give it its chance to shine. And we've got such a good chance here to make this put in some work. Icium Z is just going to be so interesting. He's never going to see it coming. He may see an Ice Beam coming, but he's not going to see an Icium Z coming. So he may like calc it with Ice Beam, and then I get that special, that tech kill on Whimsicott or Zygarde whenever that switches in on this. Next up, we have Lola, the Mega Lopunny. Now, this is exactly the same set as last week. Max attack adamant with 236 speed and 20 HP. What a crazy coincidence that both last week and this week's team happened to have Pokemon with the max speed of 116. Max speed, like, base speed of 116, which meant that 236 speed was exactly enough to outspeed them. Because I really want to use Return, and I have that one that I maxed the happiness out on last week, with exactly the same set. So I can just use the Lopunny that I have that is max happiness. Now, with Scrappy, when it Mega Evolves, it hits Gengar with High Jump Kick, and High Jump Kick does so much work against this team. Regice doesn't like it, Armaldo doesn't like it, Celesteela doesn't like it, Zygarde doesn't like it, Magnezone doesn't like it. Anything that doesn't mind a High Jump Kick like the Whimsicott or the Mega Medicham, Return does so much damage to those. Now, Ice Punch is there for coverage for that Zygarde because it does survive a High Jump Kick, and I don't necessarily want to click it twice. And otherwise, Fake Out, I mean, it just does a little bit of chip damage, breaks the Focus Sash, why not? I know I have to be aware of the Tapu Lele not allowing the Fake Out off, so I do have to keep that in mind as I'm going through this game. But otherwise, his team doesn't love handling that. He can't just hard switch a Celesteela into a Mega Lopunny because I do have the High Jump Kick, which will do like 50%. He can't just, Whimsicott gets out prioritized by Fake Out, and Mega Medicham doesn't really want to take 2 returns. So he doesn't have great answers to me, and so I think this Mega Lopunny has a chance to put in work. Last time I tried to be cheeky and run like a workup Baton Pass set into my Kyurem Black. That's not happening this week. This week we are going to run hard offensive with this Mega Lopunny and really try to put in some work with it. And lastly, we have Cradle Me. My Cradilly's coming back. Max HP, max defense, bold nature, and Rocky Helmet. Recover, Hidden Power Ice, Stealth Rock, and Giga Drain. I don't want it to get hard walled by Zygarde or Celesteela, so Hidden Power Ice does like damage to those. Giga Drain handles the Quagsire. That's about it. That's what this is really designed for. Storm Drain obviously can handle any water type attack. And max defense allows me to take the hits from Zygarde, from Armaldo, from other things that would potentially be super effective. This thing really does not handle Celesteela well at all, so I really don't want to leave it in on Celesteela, but it is an interesting option. It does have my rocks this week, which I like the idea of putting rocks up because he only has Armaldo as a possible remover, and Darmanitan, Armaldo, they just don't love seeing the rocks, and I think Calx worked out better with rocks this week anyway. So I figured I'm going to put those rocks somewhere on the team, and they didn't work on Claydol when I was running max special attack, so I'm going to put them on Cradilly. That's the team we're rocking this week. We are really hoping to get back to 3-3 here. I would love to go just past the midpoint of the season, back at 500, and only need to go 500 for the rest of the season. I'm expecting 5-5 to be the cutoff, and let's be honest, the Colorado Colors are the team we have to beat in order to make the playoffs. They are the 4th seed. We are the 5th seed. We don't really have a choice here. So hopefully we can come out, get this win that we need to get, and I will see you guys tomorrow with that battle. Take care, everyone.